Let's get right to it, huh? Bare Butt Boxing is a competitive game where, in its primary mode, players take on the role of aliens trying to punch each other off of a handful of stages and into portals to score points. Other modes focus on punching soccer balls into the portals or passing around powered-up gloves, but for the most part, it's straightforward fighting against other players or, most often, bots. Progression comes through slowly earning currency during matches and buying a slim set of unlockables in one of three categories: skins, glove colors, and character nameplates. Now, is the gameplay engaging enough to make you want all of those unlockables? Honestly, no. Movement and fighting are heavily reliant on dynamic physics, and it feels sloppy in practice. Walking around, jumping, and punching are all just too slow and stiff. These challenges make chasing down opponents and lining up hits a real chore. With no combo system, skill ceiling, or any depth to speak of, matches quickly deteriorate into mindless spamming with no real sense of accomplishment if you win. It's easy to lose track of your character on the map, especially when the camera zooms out, and depth perception can be annoyingly tricky to judge, so it's all too easy to mess up an action or fall off the stage. Fights are functional, but ultimately unexciting because of these issues. Bot AI is competent, but the shallow gameplay and lack of difficulty options all contribute to that missing feeling of strategy or satisfaction. You're not overcoming smart opponents, you're just mashing the triggers. Playing with real people is a little better until the already slow pace slows further when there's only 2 or 3 players fighting locally. Matchmaking seems to prioritize starting games quickly over actually finding opponents, so in our experience, online play just means more bot matches. The aesthetic brings something like Fall Guys to mind, with round pastel creatures clumsily battling for supremacy, but it lacks the frantic, chaotic identity that title has, despite clearly wanting to present that way. Characters are gangly, and there is some limited appeal in watching them flail around. And yes, each of them have very defined and obvious bare butts, in case you were worried the title was some kind of metaphor and not extremely, incredibly literal. The handful of arenas you fight in are at least distinct, but some play markedly worse than others, and there's no dynamism to most of them. No hazards, no interactivity, just static terrain and static portals, same thing every time. Items do appear frequently, but they are also not created equal. Some are simple, like throwing a flower pot at someone, and others are completely overpowered, like activating all portals at once and sucking in any character standing near one. There's the germ of a fun idea here, and you can see how it could work with more refinement and much more depth, but it's a very thin experience and there's not a lot on offer. While it's stable and technically sound, a distinct lack of energy and variety gives the game a crippling feeling of sameness, and it's frankly boring to play for more than 10 or 15 minutes at a time. So when you put it all together, Bare Butt Boxing gets 2 gloobies out of 5, a below average score. The core gameplay simply isn't very deep or chaotic, and there's precious little wackiness to balance out how shallow it is. It may have some light appeal as a quick distraction or experimental buy, but there's far better casual fighters and party games out there, so this is a hard one to recommend. Thanks so much for watching. Stay fresh, cheese bags. We'll catch you back here real soon.